We are talking money once again during this pandemic with financial planner and advisor Winnie Sun, also managing partner of Sun Group Wealth Partners. We did see those $15 billion in child tax credits go out again, probably deposited into many parents' accounts, and there are families out there, I'm sure, Winnie, that need the money. They're going to spend it right away for groceries, whatever they need, maybe back to school supplies. But for those families who are watching, who maybe say, we can actually tuck this away, put it aside, or maybe they want to do something else with it. What are you telling your clients to do with this money?
So, Mike, this is a common question right now, right? So, this money they're thinking, well, we want to make sure we're very respectful and take good care of it. And
Right.
so, a lot of people are saying, should I put it into education savings or should I put it towards my own retirement savings? Like, what's the best answer? And I would say, like, if you've got your emergency fund funded, that's key. If not, you can look at that first. And if you still want to go to the next step, take a look at which one comes first. For many of us, our kids are probably going to go to college before we're going to retire. So that probably is the better answer of education savings first. Now that
Good.
doesn't mean that you forget about your 401k savings. You want to keep that up. But for this money, for the child tax credit, I would say probably education savings, 529 college savings probably makes sense.
Okay, talk about education in school. A lot of people going back to school right now. And for those college students, this may be their first time, obviously, out of the house, away from their family, maybe a little bit, financial independence is knocking on their door as they approach, graduation down the road from college. But what tips would you give, students who are off to college for the first time and trying to ultimately achieve, that financial independence from their parents?
Well, Mike, I love this question because I'm sure you remember when you first get on
Mhm.
campus, you're so excited. There's so many different credit card offers and things that you can do. So, what you want to do is before you even get on campus, ideally have obviously the basics set up your checking account, ATM card,
Right.
and ideally credit card as well. I always tell parents, think about having one of your children as an authorized user on one of your cards. It helps them build credit, but you can also monitor those expenses, which is important. The other thing I would say for college students is think about creating your own budget worksheet. If you go to mybudgetworksheet.com, you can actually download a college worksheet planner for free, and it helps you sort of prioritize the spends that you're probably going to need to think about when you're paying for college. So this kind of starts you in that first step towards financial independence of having those good habits of keeping track of your money.
So if I were to get a credit card and I'm in college and it's my first one, and you're trying to establish good credit and build that credit up, do you want to get one that's like, oh, you can only have $1,000, like $1,000 limit, or does it matter if you have, let's say you have a $5,000 limit?
That's a great question. I think it depends on what your needs are. If you plan to put your tuition on your credit cards, maybe you're going to pay, try to earn cash back or even travel points with it, then yeah, having that larger limit would be helpful. But for most
Good.
students, that's really not going to be feasible. So you're really looking for a credit card that you're going to be able to hold on for a really long time. So that's going to be one that has no annual fee. That's key. So whatever credit card you establish for yourself, make sure it has no annual fee, no surprises. Also pay attention to interest rate. Make sure the interest rate isn't too high, and make sure you set up auto pay as soon as you get your credit card number. Set it up so it pulls out of your checking account, and talk to your parents too, because maybe you want to just make sure you never miss a payment, and maybe they'll, you come to some agreement that maybe they'll bail you out if it's a certain amount. But,
Right.
this is a time to over communicate with your parents about your money.
Yeah, great point right there. Speaking of parents, at least here in the Bay Area where I'm at, I know the housing prices are still very high. The market's very aggressive. People are trying to buy homes. They're trying to compete. And if they need that extra cash and they knock on mom or dad's door, are there any downfalls to a parent, saying, all right, I'm going to give you a certain amount of money, maybe for a down payment? Or what should parents know about before they do this?
So great question, Mike. There's a couple different scenarios. So we've actually had a lot of clients ask this too. So there's two things. You can either gift the money to your children, or you can set up as a loan for your children. Those are some things to think about. Now, if you're gifting, understand in 2021, the gift tax allotment is $15,000 per person. So if you have a partner, so it'd be you and let's say a spouse, you could gift your child up to $30,000 this year without having filing a gift tax, which is key. Now, if you feel like you need to gift more than that, then of course you can go towards your annual gift gift allotment for your lifetime, which in 2021 is substantial. It's over 11 million per person, obviously double that for two people. However, that being said, that could change at any time depending on the year that, you ultimately pass away. So I would say the other scenario we've been seeing is some of our clients say, well, why don't I just not gift them, but maybe I'll set up a loan, right? So then they'll have to pay me back. And that's actually a good thing to do too. You can think about doing that. I would advise talking to your accountant because you'll want to set up a promissory note, and technically you're supposed to also charge a reasonable amount of interest rate on that loan, which is dictated based on the IRS. So you want to make sure you do that and have it all clean and clear cut, and have an accountant or attorney draft that promissory note for you.
So what if my son said, hey, dad, can you co-sign a loan for me?
So
I
close.
mean, is that
Mhm.
risky? I mean, I guess, yeah.
It could be depending on how responsible your son
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
If he's really good, I mean, this could be a really great thing too, because it does
Okay.
help a lot of young people, especially millennials right now, looking to buy their first home. They are having trouble, qualifying for mortgage. Some people, not everybody. So if you can co-sign, that's great. If you think your son's going to be able to continue to pay you on time, you really want to have that comfort discussion. But if they don't pay, mom and dad, would this be a property that you would want to then take over and pay for in full yourself? Maybe retain as income property. So a lot of things to consider.
Sure.
Also, don't forget it actually will show up on your credit report and your financial profile. So if you decide to buy yourself another home or another car, that could actually impact your debt to income ratio as well.
Got it. All right. We love hearing from the viewers. So how about a viewer question right here? Winnie, should I invest if I have a pocket of money here? Should I invest that money or should I use it to put toward my mortgage?
Okay, great question. We've been hearing a lot of this on social too. And so here's the thing I would say, typically, obviously, we love, paying towards the house. But let's be honest, if you refinanced recently, your mortgage rate could be between 2 to 3% right now, which is relatively low. And it's actually, in many cases, lower than inflation. So if you have those long term financial goals that need to be accomplished, let's say retirement planning or education planning for your kids, and you're maybe behind on that, I would say try to work towards those goals first. Try to make sure that they're diversified. So hopefully you can keep up and exceed your mortgage interest. So let's say it's like 2.8%. Try to exceed that even after taxes are taken into account. Then it would make sense, right? Then you don't want to pay your house off so soon because you're gaining on the other side long term, right? Key is long term, and then making sure that that money just doesn't sit in the bank, but actually is invested towards those important goals.
I mean, who knows what college, my son's 11. So, in 7 years, how expensive 4 years of college will be.
We do know, yeah, college
Yeah.
expenses,
Unbelievable.
average increase in price right now. So what I call college inflation is in excess of 6% right now. So it's much
Yeah.
higher than inflation or your mortgage rate.
There you go. Winnie's son, managing partner of Sun Group Wealth Partners. Always appreciate the conversation. Have a great rest of the week, Winnie.
Thank you so much, Mike. Take care.